thanks to Sigurd. He was a good guide and even better company. He told me some incredible stories. The best ones were about you.
Hopefully nothing too embarrassing.
There were a few gems.
Not to interrupt, Eivor, but what of Leicestershire?
The Alliance is won. The Sons of Ragnar are friends to our clan.
Glad to hear it. Well done to you both.
You have not been long in here.
At one time, the title Jarl referred to a man second only to the king, but that use has softened. Now a Jarl may be a chief, a leader, or a man with broad wealth and influence.
The world is bigger now, and broken into many pieces. It seems our language must do the same to keep up.
An interesting thought.
Ceolbert, your father sent you here to learn, not teach.
Then you must start, Eivor. Give us a summary of our recent gains, for instance. The clan is thirsty for knowledge.
You want me to give a speech? Right. My friends, hearken to me, and hear a tale of triumph and toil. I have traveled far since we landed, and seen much on the roads and fields of this New England. And for all my travels, strong alliances have we gained. The Honorable Ceolwulf, King of Mercia, now calls us friend. And to the south, Soma Jarlskona and the Danes of Grandabridge have pledged their oath to us. By Sigurd's hand and my own, we have strengthened the ties of—
You see to yourself as Sigurd's equal in these tales of yours. Would Sigurd do the same if he were here?
Sigurd knows what I have achieved, and he would celebrate it more roundly than I have. But this takes nothing from you, all of you. For I sit among some of the staunchest wills and strongest fighters I have ever known. And so I raise my horn, first to Sigurd, may he return to us soon, and to the Raven clan, the best of friends and fighters. To Sigurd!
To Sigurd! May he return and relieve us of you!
And may all of you enjoy the ale as much as Dag has. Skull!
You think me drunk, Eivor? Would it soften my blows if I was?
Your words are blunt enough, but it would explain your boldness.
My eyes are clear and open, and I see before me one eager to claim a piece of Sigurd's glory.
There is enough glory in the world to go around for all who earn it. And I have no doubt how much I am owed.
Just as I thought. You're—
Attackers from the river! They look to be Danes!
Danes? How many?
Too many. Now come, the battle roars already.
bloody curse! What quarrel have Danes with us?
Those who can fight, take up your weapons. All others, stay here. With me! Is that the last of them?
The rivers are clear. If more were coming, they thought better of it.
By their colors and markings, I believe they come from Geatland. But with none left alive to spill their secrets, we may never know why.
Here is one! This vermin was crawling to the river, hoping to float away.
Have mercy, friend. And you may find an ally with us.
Mercy's earned by the quickness of your tongue. Where do you come from and what is your quarrel with us?
We are settled in East Anglia. Newly arrived and hungry for silver.
You drifted off course. This is Mercia.
as we were ordered.
By whom?
You bore me.
Useless hound. Scratching your ass in search of silver. Put an end to this one.
Your silence earns you no kindness, Geet. So I'll ask you once more. Who sent you?
The wind sent us. And the rivers will take us home.
He begs for death, Eivor. Give it to him.
Or send him home with a warning. Let him tell his people what death awaits them, should they sail this way again.
May there be one who mourns you at home, for we will not.
Eivor, I could have sent my scouts to follow him home. We might have learned something.
The price of such disrespect is death, Randvi.
Just as Sigurd would have done.
I cannot devise a strategy if my advice is ignored.
To let that man live would announce to the world that we are soft and cowardly. Now these wayward Danes know to fear us.
Forgive my haste, Randvi, but Dag is right.
For once you see clearly. I beg the gods that it continues.
We should clean this mess and move the bodies from the camp.
Agreed. And we talk of our next steps together. A new letter. Ravensthorpe, an island of calm in this turbulent land. But my vision of fire still troubles me. It would be good to rest beneath my...
Thank Tyr.
I heard shouting. Is something wrong?
Holger robbed me, and I demand he be punished.
Rot disappointed word. Does the deer rub the stream when she takes a drink? Does a cow rub a field when he crops on sweet grass?
Eivor, this matter requires sensitive judgment. Will you?
Of course. From the beginning, please.
Well now, there is no excuse too small, I see. Nothing to keep you from coveting that seat, is there?
In Sigurd's absence, who has better claim to oversee these disputes?
You might leave them to work it out for themselves, but that would mean letting go, would it not?
Please start again. Tell me all that has happened.
I will start. I have been falsely accused by this Saxon Philistine.
A filly what? Are you mocking me?
Silence, please. I'll hear both of your complaints and render a decision, awarding compensation if needed. Understood? Rowan, tell me your version of these events.
As you are aware, Holger and I are neighbors. Near enough that I often catch him at my stables, stealing my tools.
Borrowing.
Holger, let him speak.
Stealing, borrowing. My point being, I have always allowed him to use whatever he pleased. I greatly admire your Norse generosity and had hoped to match it. But this morning, Holger stretched the limits of my grace. Entering my stables for their feed, I found my most beautiful, gentle mare stripped of her tail. Bereft, not a strand in sight. I am ashamed to say my natural suspicion drew me to Holger, and how right I was. For when I peered across the lane, there he was, gripping a horsetail brush slathered with indigo, dragging it across a sheet of...
Painting, Rowan. I was painting. You make it sound so crude.
You see? Such willful arrogance. It will take ages for Ilgafur's tail to reach its former length. I demand compensation.
I understand. Thank you, Rowan. Holger, let me hear your side.
Eivor, you have known me as a skald for years. You have seen how my poems bring life and joy and wisdom to our people. And you know that my work requires a certain, let us say, freedom. To make use of rare resources to compose my verses. Often when lacking the proper tools, I have made use of novel items. Alvis's walking stick, Tovy's inks, all were given gladly.
You cut off my horse's tail to make a brush, you bleeding...
Rowan?
As I was saying, this morning in the throes of poetic reverie, I realized that my latest piece required delicate brushwork. I could have used a frayed stick, some cloth, my hands, but no. I needed something gentler, softer. To make a perfect brush, I needed the fine hairs of a well-raised horse. And so I availed myself of a local resource.
You clipped Alfgafu's tail to the rump without asking.
It was early. I did not wish to wake you.
Thank you, Holger. I believe I understand your position. I believe I have heard enough. If you will...
My horse looks like a fool, Eivor. No handsomer than a donkey now. You must do something.
Do not conflate hair with beauty, Rowan. She remains radiant. Elgifer's hair will grow back in no time.
Quiet, both of you. Now listen. Holger, Rowan is clearly in the right. You sheared the tail from his horse without gaining permission.
I borrowed the tail. Borrowed! Does the reality of regrowth not make this a victimless crime?
It is a two-victim crime, Holger. Though they are unharmed, you took without asking, and that will not do. As the horse's value has diminished significantly, you will pay Rowan its market price.
But the horse was not for sale. Rowan, admit it.
My decision is final, Holger. Pay what you owe and meet tomorrow as friends.
And if I do, may I keep the horse?
Pay the man and be done with it. Rowan, does this satisfy you?
It does. Thank you, Eivor.
Good. Then by Tyr's blessing, let this matter rest. We are done here. Return to your homes in peace.
Hello, Eivor. Good day. That Holger, he is quite a character.
I almost envy him. To see the world through such a muddy glass and live with such petty concerns. He hasn't a care in the world.
Let's not walk too far with that idea. I need you right where you are.
Randvi, our work is done in Oxenfordshire, but the cost has been high.
I feared as much when this letter arrived, from one called Fulke, addressed to you.
From Fulke? Gods, that witch.
It is there on the table.
Fulke's with the Order of the Ancients. The same order Kjotve followed. The order that Basim and Hytham have pledged to destroy.
Eivor, what has happened?
Sigurd has been taken hostage, captured by King Alfred and given to a woman named Fulke. A very dangerous woman.
What does she want with him?
I will spare you Fulke's ramblings, but know this. Sigurd did his part to secure an alliance with a thane called Gidrich. Gidrich is an honest man, and will come when I call. Until that time, Basim will locate Fulke. Look for his message when it comes.
Some interesting news. King Ceolwulf has sent Ceolbert to Shropshire. He hopes to install him as Elderman there.
Good for Ceolbert. He should do well considering all he has learned from you.
I gave him only a taste of my knowledge. The rest he will need to figure for himself.